But it was one of those moments where for us as reps going into the event, we could see how networking on LinkedIn could result in actual relationships with people, and you can meet people in a different way. Yeah. It was just one of those aha moments that we talked about.
Yeah, and everybody says like, and this is, for a lot of you listening, you're like, my buyers aren't on there. I sell to the C-suite, or I'm in manufacturing, or supply chain, or I sell to CTOs.
We sell to higher ed.
Yeah.
Higher ed doesn't make content.
Higher ed, they're there.
Yeah.
Right. And so they're all there.
To that point, you think about how everyone's out there in some capacity. You talked about video. We talked about all these different ways we try outreach as sales professionals. How often are you trying different things on LinkedIn? Because create content for 1,000+ days. Yeah. How often are you trying something new?
I'm trying stuff new all the time. Like nobody knows this last week, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to post 3 times a day for 3 days in a row and see what happens. Huh. It didn't go very well. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to try stuff. So Gary Vaynerchuk is a guy I've looked up to for a very long time. What we're doing today is what we think is going to happen a year from now. So the things that I'm doing now are like, I was doing the stuff that everybody's doing now last year, right? So I was creating videos last year, going viral on video last year. Now it's like, what can I do now, right? And so I'm always trying to do something different. Yesterday is a prime example. Like everybody's like, you should never call out your prospects on LinkedIn. You know what? I just wrote a post directly at HubSpot. And I was like, yo, HubSpot, I need a CRM partner, and I want to have a deal with you, and I want you to sponsor me and all my stuff. And I had a little bit of backlash, but guess what? I had like 9 HubSpotters reach out to me and have a meeting on the calendar next week. So it's like, that's something that I probably wouldn't have done. Now I could do it because I work for myself and I can't fire myself. But I'm always trying something different.
Yeah. I think that's part of it, though. You have to continue to try things differently. And that's how you frankly learn what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to get to this in a little bit, but like that's when I started sending video DMs. Everybody was like, what are you doing? You're a maniac. And I was like, well, nobody else is doing it. Right. So I'd throw a backwards hat on, grab a Miller Lite, walk outside with my daughter on my hip and send a message to the CLO of Deloitte. And they get it and they're like, what is this? And why is this guy so comfortable and not trying to be perfect? And they all respond. And I think that's the part that's like missing with most of us.
Well, let's dive into that then. So video messaging has been something that has really taken off over the last 2 years. I feel like, at least in our business. How have you seen that really transform how you do outreach? Is that your default now versus cold?
If I'm really, really busy, my default is audio message with just a little microphone. But if I have time, I'm taking a walk outside, a glass of whiskey or a beer or water or whatever it is, and I know so much about their business, and so one of the messages might be, I don't know, we've been on the tractor train here, so I'll say John Deere, but like if I walk outside, I'm like, hey, Sarah, this is Darren McKee. I just want to tell you thank you so much for connecting with me last week. Hey, I did connect for a reason. Sorry, it's super loud. My kid's on a scooter outside, but I just had time to send this. But I was deep into your sustainability report last week and noticed in 2022, you talked a lot about executive coaching, but in the one this year, there wasn't a mention of executive coaching. So I was just curious, did you bring that inside your COI or COE, or are you just not doing executive coaching anymore? And I just press send, and then they respond back always, because it's like, why do you know about, how do you know we have a COE, a center of excellence is what it's called in our space. And there's the message is different. And so it's always my default. If I'm going, and I start at the C-suite, always
start at the top and
always start at, I always start at the C-suite with a video, an outside walking video, t-shirt, backwards hat, hoodie, whatever.
And with the outside walking video, is there a certain background that you're always trying to use?
Anything that, like, if I look at all of the data, this is wild. If I look at all of the data of everyone that's ever been responded to, some kids are in the background, there's a siren, I'm walking down New York City, it's snowing in Chicago, and basically...
You're real, is what it is.
Basically,
it's not perfect.
I don't have time to do this during the day, and I'm making the time while I'm walking to dinner to actually do this because I care about my job.
Yeah.
And that's why people respond to these things. Like everybody's doing video now where they got a little sign and they're like, hey, this is Darren from Darren McKee Co., which that actually sounds weird. I never say that. But and it's like nobody cares. You're reading a screen. It's the same script. And like just be real.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, video's king. I don't think you can do more than about 8 a day.
Yeah.
That's
interesting. So why 8? Like it's a very specific number.
Yeah, you get tired. Yeah. And it's really hard to know a lot about these people and keeping that in your mind, right? And so, but there's a really cool part about sales is like when you know 8 companies and the people off the back of your head, you can kind of just riff walking down the street and do it in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But multiple takes, don't do it. If it's not perfect, send it.
Yeah, just let it rip.
Yeah. I love that. Don't worry about perfection.
Yeah.
It brings an authenticity to the message.
Yeah.
To Adam's point, you're real.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely like, it's something they don't see, which is wild.
Yeah.
Well, it's what we learned in one of your cohorts, right? Stop the scroll.
Yeah.
How can we
shock the feed?
Exactly. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, I sent one that, can I say a cuss word on here? I sent one, and I said, I said something after that, and I accidentally pressed send. And then I got a response from that guy.
That's awesome.
Because he was like, I mess up too. Right? Like, it is what it is.
That's hilarious.
Well, I think
Nobody wants us to be perfect.
No, and that's why I think we relate to your content so much. And Chris made the play with our CEO to join the cohort, and was fantastic. We learned so many things from you I think just that, right? Of being yourself and just putting it out there, right? You don't gotta be perfect about it. It doesn't gotta be some crazy post about anything. Just post what comes to your mind and be the expert in your industry.
Yeah, Darren, I think that's the thing that I've always appreciated with your content is I got a feeling of who Darren was before I even met you, because you weren't trying to be something that you're not, and that's exhausting to do, and frankly, you see through it.
Well, I've tried to do that. That's hard. It's like really hard, right? Yeah. And like one thing you have to realize though is that like not everybody's gonna like who you are.
No,
which is actually really hard for me. If I'm just being honest, like I've always liked to be liked by people. But when you're getting 60 million impressions on your content in a year, 400,000 people are going to hate you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people, right? So you had to like, there were times where I had to like walk through those barriers and work with a coach to try to like make sure I could get those voices out of my head of like people telling me my content sucked or that I was terrible at sales or, that this doesn't work or, and then I just go look at my bank account. Yeah. Why do I have a backwards hat? Right. Yeah. Like that happens all the time still, but I get booked because I have a backwards hat.
Mm-hmm. Now, to that point, the backwards hat has become a bit of a trademark for you.
Yeah.
And it's something that shocks the system of LinkedIn. I mean, frankly, you don't, especially early on for you, the content on the platform was resume building. It was super professional.
Yeah.
Was that intentional, the backwards hat, or what's the story behind the hat?
Yeah. Well, I had a business before this, and me and my brother used to always wear backwards hats, and our logo had a backwards hat. So I just became the backwards hat guy. And I always, if you see me out and about, like I always have a backwards hat on. It's kind of weird now. If I have to rebrand, it's like, this is over. I don't know what I'm going to do. But like, I think it got to the point where like, from a marketing perspective, I wanted to be, when somebody thought backwards hat LinkedIn, I wanted them to think Darren McKee. And so it just became that.
That's how you got sticky.
That's how I got sticky, right? And it's like, I mean, there's not much to it other than that. Now I'm kind of stuck.
Now you're committed to it.
I'm committed to
Now you're like, I woke up late, didn't want to do my hair, so I throw the hat on.
Yeah. I mean, I did a presentation with a very professional firm like 3 weeks ago, and I walked in on his suit, and the CEO, who I didn't even know, was like, "Where's your hat?" Like I can't even. He was like, "I can't even listen to you without your hat." And I was like, "All right, cool." It was in my bag. I just throw it on with the suit.
Nice.
How many hats do you have?
I don't know. 50. My wife hates. If I bring home another hat, she's gonna kill me. Which I am now.
Certain teams, brands, you collect all of them, or what is the?
I don't know. I just
everything?
love hats.
Colors.
Yeah. There's a company that I've been trying to get a deal with for a really, really long time. It's called Sendero. They're out of Waco, but the guy won't give me the time of the day, so I'll just keep buying his hats for $50.
Yeah, maybe we'll tag him on this when we drop this podcast.
I've tagged him so many. He's going to watch this. I'm going to send it to him. But it's they're great.
I think it's one of those things you talk about launching your own brand now. Essentially, has your name in it.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into relationships, reputation, all of that. You got everything on the line with your own name on the name of the brand.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think about that very much because it gives me anxiety a little bit.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, appreciate it. I don't talk about this very often, but for years I put my family on LinkedIn,
Right.
pictures of us like doing all the things. I don't know if anybody's knows this, but for the last 9 months that I have not done that. And it happened after I had Darren McKee Co. It's not my kid's company. It's
Right.
not my daughter's company and my son's. And so I think about that every day now when I wake up in the morning. Every piece of content that I put out, they're going to be able to find.
Yep.
Every comment that I drop, they're going to be able to see.
Digital footprint.
For the rest of my life, whatever I write on the internet will be visible to my 2 kids.
Yep.
And so I think about that every day. And so I have that filter that I run through every piece of my content. And that's why I've switched over the last 9 months to be way more teach versus tell.
Right.
There's nothing you can say bad about what I posted this morning or yesterday. And there's been many times where like a picture of my family has been plastered all over the internet about like work-life balance. I don't need to talk about work-life balance anymore. I actually don't believe in work-life balance, right? I just think it's a pendulum, and some days and years you're heavy work and some days you're heavy, career. Last year, like my family saw a little bit of me, right? This year they're seeing a lot of me.
Right.
And I had to set that up. So yeah, I mean, I think I was really scared to start a company,
Right.
especially putting my name in it. But like I had built a personal brand for 3 years. I wasn't going to just like name it something else.
No. Backwards Hetco.
Right? But like, I mean, even to this, like when I launched it, somebody on Reddit was like, this guy can't even name his company. And I'm like, if you only knew.
Yeah.
So it's like, but I think about it all the time. I still don't really think I'm a like entrepreneur or founder. I'm just out here trying to help as many people as I can every day.
Well, you're staying true to what got you to this point. And
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things that continues to build that momentum for you. Is you have a process, and the label of the process might change through different companies and now your own company.
Yeah,
But
I mean, like today, I made a post of detailed step processes on something. I did the same thing yesterday with something different, and like a couple messages that people were like, "Hey, you really need to gate this stuff. You really need to charge people for this stuff. You could be making a lot of money." I mean, $12,000 last night because they were like, "What is not gated?
Yeah.
What's behind the gate?" And I'm like, so I'll just keep giving as much as I possibly can.
yeah.
And if they want to pay for more, they can, join something.
Join the cohort.
Right.
It's great. I'll give you a live review right now. It was fantastic. We learned a ton.
We did. We were in the second cohort in January.
Yeah. I was
One of the early
much
phases.
better now.
No, we honestly got a lot from it. I mean, that really was the start of our LinkedIn journey. I mean, over the last year and a half, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris just pulled up an IM between the two of us. Last
funny.
week about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, proud to have 1,000 followers. Like, yeah, we're getting there.
Going back to 2022, we were messaging each other back and forth, and I had crossed 1,000, and Adam had crossed 3,000.
Yeah.
And now today we sit here with almost 20,000 combined.
That's crazy. I have a text to my brother on my phone when I hit 11.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
No.
It goes fast. It goes really fast.
But it's fun. I mean, I tell my friends all the time, like, if you're selling in 2025 now, and you're not on LinkedIn showing who you are, like, you're doing it wrong. Like, I'm
Doing it
sorry, you
wrong.
just are.
Yeah.
You're missing a huge opportunity.
100%.
You just are.
Yeah. I mean, I work with a lot of PE firms and VC firms right now, and they're all making their founders and presidents post content.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, my son's an avid hunter, and I'm like, hey, do you want to go get some hunting gear? I'm like, you want to go to Walmart? Do you want to go to REI? And he's like, oh, REI sponsored the YouTube podcast last week. Let's go to
There
REI.
you go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, REI should sponsor this.
We'll tag them. We'll tag everybody.
I think it's one of those things when you think about, the way you've made content and the things that have resonated. One of the things that very early on resonated with me was you had this post where you were pointing to a logo. And for us, we go to campuses quite often. Adam and I were on the road, and we had this moment where we should create posts where we're pointing to landmarks on campus.
Yeah.
And it was just an easy no-brainer. So little things like that, just little tips and tricks, and you haven't charged for them. It's been this giving that you've talked about. It's impacted folks in other states that you have not met before.
Yeah.
And we find ourselves here today implementing a lot of these tips and tricks because you've been willing to give and give. And it's cool to see.
Yeah, I don't know why I started doing that. I really don't. I was we used to call it canvassing back in the day when we were walking around, right? And I would knock on the door and they weren't there. I'd take a picture and send it to them later. And then I got to the point where I was like, why don't I just tell them I'm out front and like see if they open the door late, and they would, right? And so and then people were like, oh, that doesn't work in, mid-market and enterprise. And I'm like, all right, cool. Watch this Kraft Heinz, or like, watch this Clorox, Burt's Bees, whatever it was.
It was a Burt's Bees post.
Burt's Bees post. And so I started doing it. I mean, Nissan, like monster organizations. It's like, hey, what floor are you on? Yeah. And everybody's like, that's so creepy. And I'm like, well, like, dude, I mean, I got a family to feed, and like, I know you're here.
Yeah. I mean, for us with campuses, we joke around all the time that we come to campus and we're not always the local provider. So it's an opportunity to show like, no, like we're on your campus. We're here. We're meeting with your peers.
We went to your local bar. We tried the local burger. We went to the statue that we needed to see, like all those things. And Chris has made it pretty famous internally here at Club Colors with his Chris Jager selfie point. I mean, every single time he goes to campus, he makes it a point to be at the stadium or be at these landmarks with him in it. Selfie. Yeah. That's pointing right at it.
It's the way to do it. I love it.
Shara does a nice little montage at the holiday.
Yeah.
It's really fun. And it's also like sales is so fun.
You should have fun with it.
And it's the greatest job in the world. Like we get to have a conversation with as many people as we want and hope they might buy something that we have, right? And it's like, what a joy. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's just how I feel.
No, we've talked about that forever, especially in the sale that we do. We're doing branding, promotional products, right? It is a fun phone call. It's not life or death here. We're having fun with T-shirts and water bottles and your brand and making you stand out, right? If we're not having fun in those calls, like where can you have fun?
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the lessons very early on in my Club Colors career I learned from you and Jason was this mindset of we should be the fun call. If you're not the fun call, what are you doing?
100%. And I mean, listen, we've all worked for places where it's not the fun call.
Yeah.
And I hate it. It's miserable, right? But like, I was selling coaching for years. Like, I can change someone's life, not me, but the coach. And like, it was so easy for me to talk about, right? Yeah. Like, you ever got a crappy branded polo? It's the worst.
Yeah.
Like, collar flips up immediately. It shrinks. It's like boxy.
Get the bacon collar.
Bacon collar, right? Yeah.
No, I mean, we work in an industry where branding should bring excitement to what you're doing. Yeah. You're talking to us for a reason. We're going to be talking about promotional products, things that make your brand stand out, bring excitement to your event. That's why we're here. We should be a fun call for you.
100%. That's like one of the... Never mind, I'm not going to say that.
So, Darren, you've launched the new company, cohorts, all sorts of crazy things going on. What's next for you here in 2025?
Everybody always asks me, what's next? You should hire more. You should get assistants. You should do all this stuff. I'm just having fun, man.
Yeah.
I really want to spend a lot of time with my family. For the last 13 years, it's been heads down to get to the point where like I could maybe do this thing, right? And so I wanted to launch this business like full time back after we met in Salt Lake City. Yeah. I remember vividly. I called Scott Leese. I don't know if you know Scott Leese or not.
I don't know Scott.
Out of Austin, and I was like, "Hey, man, I think I'm gonna go out on my own." And he was like, "I think you're crazy. I think you should build a business to $1 million first and match your salary 3 months in a row, and then call me and tell me you left." And so we built Sky from $0 to $1 million and matched my salary 3 months in a row, and I resigned. At the time of us exiting the business, and so. Anytime I think about what's next, I have to like zoom out and think like I'm really proud of of me and like what our family has done. And so I try to just like stay content in the moment. I don't really know what's next. I'm going to ride this wave as long as I possibly can. I don't think this wave is going to be more than 5 years. Hopefully I make enough money in the next 5 years where I can just play golf and fish and hunt all the time with my kids and family. And I think that's a real possibility. I don't want to hire anyone. I don't want to co-brand things. If I hire anyone to be my wife, because she's the most organized person on the planet. But yeah, one-to-one coaching, team coaching, cohorts, loving some retainer stuff and work that I'm doing. I think I was talking to you this morning. There's no better feeling than like getting a call from somebody that was in your cohort that says like, you changed their life, or they were able to start a business, or they closed the biggest deal of their lives, or whatever. That's that's everything. And so now it's fun, you know.
Yeah, and I would imagine down the road you might get a few of those calls. You've coached what, 500?
537 people. I keep
who's
track
counting
of the number. I have a spreadsheet. But yeah, I mean, it's great. I'm having a lot of fun, and some weeks are great, some weeks are not, and you just ride the waves, figure out how to do taxes.
Did you ever? Yeah, I can only imagine that. Did you ever imagine you'd have 500 people when you started the cohort journey?
You know,
this fast.
You know, I don't know. You know those personality assessment things that you take. You know, in your you know, when people used to make you take those before you got hired. Every time I took one, it would tell me I was a really good starter and then terrible finisher. And I think that's actually why every sales job I've ever been, I've always ramped really good. Like I've always crushed my ramp.
Out the gates coming.
Yeah, man. Like I come in with 9 meetings set, and I'm crushing ramp in the first 3 months, and then I tail off towards the end, and then I go to another company, crush ramp again. It surprises me that I've been able to maintain that throughout the year. So I think it has surprised me a little bit, but I think it's because I've launched different pieces of it. I can't, if I was just doing the cohort, I would have probably quit already and then went to do something else, but I'd do one-to-one, then do team, then do retainer, then do speaking, then do what I'm doing in 2025, which is I'm going to do something where I offer everybody to come in, all 530 people to an event space.
Cool. We'll look out for that invite.
Yeah. So that'll be, I'm always just thinking about like, what's next? And I got that from Better Up in the Trees, Plants, and Seeds thing, right? Like just trying to understand like what's next. And so,
and for our listeners, trees, plants, and seeds. What?
Seeds, trees, what make money? Plants kind of make money. They might have some legs, and then seeds are like wild ideas that might flourish into the future. And so like, there's a couple seeds in my head right now where like a lot of people want one-to-one coaching. So I fly them in the morning. I pick them up at the airport. We go have breakfast. We do 4 hours of coaching. We play golf, and you fly home.
Cool.
It's $10,000.
Awesome. That's nice.
Right. So it's just like it probably won't ever sprout, but it could.
Yeah.
And you just have these things that are like, you have to be thinking about what's next.
Yeah.
Yeah, so speaking of what's next, we got you here. The real reason you're here, right? Tomorrow, for our SKR sales kickoff, we're excited about it. I think it's going to be super beneficial for our team and for us as well. Are you doing a lot of speaking events like that? And I guess maybe get a taste of what you got in plan for our Club Colors team tomorrow.
Yeah, no.
You're like, I'm going to write it tonight, so we'll see.
You guys just took a big chance on me here. I've done a lot of team trainings where I'll come in for like 90 minutes, 120 minutes and do like super tactical. I'm never going to be the guy that's going to come in and hoorah, just meditated for 90 minutes and did an ice bath and made everybody really excited. Literally, I'll probably sleep through my alarm tomorrow morning and grab a donut on the way in. But I'm really excited. I think the one thing that I love about what I do is that like for the people that actually do it, there's tangible ROI for them afterwards. And so like while we'll get super tactical tomorrow, I'm excited about it. And I always say, listen, like got a room full of 50, 8 of them will take it and run with it.
Beautiful. I'll take 8. I told you 3 earlier, so we'll do 8.
Yeah. So no, I'm really excited. I'm just glad to be in Chicago in the freezing cold. And
yeah, a little bit of a change of pace for you.
Yeah.
Well, Darren, it's been a pleasure. We love having you here to speak tomorrow and obviously have our conversation today. We'll continue to follow and engage with your content, continue to support the journey you're on and we're all on as sales pros.
I love it. Thanks guys.
Thanks for coming in.
That was great.
Yep. Thanks, Darren.